I was sold for 1.5 million Nigerian nairas. This is true story of betrayal, blood oaths, and survival. When your world collapses, sometimes the hand stretched out to help you is the one that shoves you off the cliff. The story I am about to tell you is not fiction. It is the real story of my life. I trusted the wrong person and ended up in the belly of one of West Africa's darkest underground worlds. Sold like property, shackled by blood oaths, forced into prostitution. This is the terrifying price of man's insatiable greed. My name is Linda. I am a Nigerian. A mother. A sister. A survivor. I come from a place where dreams are born hungry and often die that way. My childhood was poverty wrapped in prayer. We fed from hand to mouth, sometimes going days without real food. Our meals were made from borrowed gari and boiled leaves. My mother was a lioness. She worked 3, sometimes 4 jobs, washing clothes for others during the day, cleaning a school at night, and selling pure water at bus stops in between. But poverty, it eats away at the strongest. One day she collapsed. They said it was her heart. We rushed her to the clinic. But when they realized we couldn't pay, they refused to treat her. She died with my name on her lips, holding my sister's hand. My dad followed suit not too long after. The death of my parents made things worse. I was left alone to care for my only sister and my little daughter. Life was hard. I did small-scale farming, but it wasn't enough. Sometimes we ate once a day. Our house rent expired. The landlord was already threatening to throw us out. And my sister, she was very sick. She had been our mother and father rolled into one, but now she could no longer even get up from bed. One afternoon, while I was in the farm, someone I knew from my past showed up. I hadn't seen him in years. He said I looked thin, worn out, desperate. I didn't even have the strength to deny it. He pitied me and promised to help. He said his neighbor's daughter in Burkina Faso was looking for a shop assistant to sell gold. The pay? Weekly. Good money, enough to feed my family and even pay rent. My heart lifted for the first time in a long while. They told me to come to the city first. But when I got there, no one came for me. I slept at the park. In the morning, they sent me an address. I found the house, a big house, a beautiful compound, expensive cars lined the driveway. They dressed like royalty, perfumed, smiling, wholly even. But behind their lavish lifestyle, behind the polished gates and marble floors, they were recruiters, wolves in lace. They lived off the flesh and blood of girls like me, pretending to be taken care of, but actually running a blood-stained empire of deceit. I had no idea. They couldn't stop talking about how proud they were of their daughter abroad, how she was building a thriving business empire in Burkina Faso. They welcomed me with warm smiles and apologized for not picking me up at the station. They told me their daughter was looking for a God-fearing girl like me. I even spoke to her over the phone. She sounded kind, reassuring. She promised to send part of my salary home to help with my sister's medical treatment. In that moment, I truly believed my prayers had finally been answered. But the journey was strange. Instead of a plane, I was taken by boat. They said air travel was too expensive. I was confused but desperate. They told me to leave my luggage behind. My new boss would buy me clothes. I refused. That was my first red flag. But I ignored it. On the boat, there were other girls. Teenagers, mostly. 2 of them got sent back by immigration. I didn't realize what was going on. I thought we were all heading to good jobs. We weren't. The boat was overcrowded. We moved from Badagry to Port Novo, and the sea was violent. Dark clouds loomed. Immigration nearly turned us back twice. Ocean guards fed us lies. The weather was so bad some girls threw up blood. We prayed and cried through murky waters. From Port Novo to Cotonou, and then into a truck filled with foodstuff. They told me to pretend the driver was my husband. Another red flag. But I was too deep in by then. I kept thinking of my daughter and my sister. I had to believe this suffering was temporary. When I finally got to Burkina Faso, the house was not what I expected. It was dirty, broken, isolated. I asked about the gold shop. They smiled. The next morning, I saw 2 men counting a large sum of money. I didn't know that was the price they had just sold me for, 1.5 million Nigerian nairas. They took my phone, said it would distract me at work. I followed them, thinking we were headed to the city. But instead, we rode bikes into the jungle for 5 long hours, circling round and round so I couldn't trace my way back. I didn't realize I was being transported like cattle. What I saw that night I will never forget. It was like a carnival, but not the kind anyone celebrates. Women in underwear, loud music, torchlights flashing. And then an auction. 2 women bidding for me like I was a bag of rice. The woman who won me, she didn't smile. She didn't blink. She simply said, I paid 1.5 million for you. You will work and pay me back 4.5 million. Then you can go. She handed me a bag full of bikinis. Said that's our uniform. Bought an exercise book to record my clients. I told her I came to sell gold. She laughed in my face. Then came the ritual. I thought it was a joke. She pricked my finger and dropped blood into a calabash with my name. Cut my hair, even from private parts. Mixed it all into a dark pot. I later found out that was an oath, a deadly one. If I ran, if I disobeyed, they said my spirit would die. And I believed them. I refused to work. I couldn't. I wasn't raised for this. I begged, cried, starved. 2 days without food. Then the others began telling me their stories. Some had been trafficked at 14. One had a limp from the brutal way she was defiled. Some were pregnant. Some had lost their wombs to back-alley abortions. Many had HIV. Some were dying silently. The madam gave each girl to up to 6 men a day. Front. Back. No one cares if it was your first time. The clients, mostly illegal gold miners, were violent, rich, and godless. HIV, STDs they spread like water. God is truly merciful for not raining fire on that place. Girls died every week. If they did, their bodies were dumped in the bush. We weren't alone. There were boys too. Underaged. Abused. Some as young as 12. Sodomized, beaten, and drugged into obedience. This is not just a girl's problem. It is an African crisis. Hidden in plain sight. My first client was the boss of a local mafia. He came in with a gun and a dagger. When I saw them, I broke down completely. I told him everything. He listened. And then he promised to help me. He gave me his father's contact. His father was a chief. Eventually, the chief listened to my story and was furious. He had my madam arrested. I begged the other girls to run with me. Some refused, afraid of the oath. But 5 of us left that night. At 4 a.m., with the help of the chief and his men, who protected us from the tugs sent by my madam's friend, we slipped into the bush. No map. No guide. Just prayer and desperation. We trekked. Starved. Fainted. Some hallucinated. But we kept moving. Through the forest, dirty roads, motorcycle rides, until we crossed into Togo. The journey back home was brutal. Some fainted. One hallucinated. We had barely any money. We begged, did degrading things just to survive. But somehow 3 of us made it back to Nigeria. Now I'm back. I returned with nothing but scars and memories. There were moments I burned with rage. I even thought of going to my so-called boss's parents' house and setting it on fire. But then I paused. I couldn't let their evil drag me into a prison cell. They took everything from me, but not my voice. And that voice I will use loudly. I've been reunited with my daughter and my sister. And yes, I've reported those who sold me like livestock. I will not stay silent. Women and even young boys are being trafficked every single day. Not always by strangers. Sometimes by neighbors. Sometimes by people who say they care. I survived. But so many didn't. If you are watching this, look for the red flags. Ask questions. Don't let desperation blind you. Because I was sold for 1.5 million Nigerian nairas, but the price I almost paid was my life. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more videos.